Hi, everyone. I know it's been a little bit since my last episode, but welcome back to Butterfly Express. As you can see, we got a new logo now, and it is the same as my film studio, Reese Griffin Productions, which is currently working on a sequel to Fall of the Ghost Train, my short film, and the second installment in the Ghost Train film series that I'm doing. I am confirming now that it will be a trilogy, what I'm doing, so there's that. Today we're going to talk about Transformers 1. Also, I'm getting over some allergies right now, so I might sound a little funny. I apologize for that. Yeah. Episode 5 will probably sound like this too, because I'll be recording those at the same time. Yeah, both episodes 4 and 5. Okay, so Transformers 1 is regarded by many as the best Transformers film ever made. Or one of them, at least. There's also the original animated movie that people would argue is the best, but Transformers 1, let me tell you something, that is amazing. That is an amazing film. If you don't know much about the Transformers lore, don't worry, this film will explain it all for you. Or it'll at least give you a basic gist of what's going on. Planet of robots that turn into other things, mostly vehicles, sometimes animals, sometimes weapons, it just depends. And it is a brilliant, beautiful film. The animation is top-notch. It is really, really good. I'm not just saying this because Transformers is one of my top franchises of all time. It's also a really good story, really good look at Optimus Prime and Megatron's relationship and how they become the enemies that we know them as. I mean, a lot of Transformers fans already know where the story's going to go by the end, but it's interesting to learn that the two started off as friends back in the day. And we see that fall that happens and the split between the two characters. And all the very dark, maddening stuff that happened that drove them apart. Optimus Prime goes one way and Megatron goes the other. And I love how this film expressed that. They chose to have celebrities voice most of the main characters, and Chris Hemsworth did okay as Optimus Prime. I wasn't so sure about the choice at first, but he was alright. He did it pretty good, actually. Brian Tyree as Henry. At first, I was a bit skeptical, but it turns out he really nails Megatron once he starts going down his dark, gritty path. I mean, at first, it's weird to hear Megatron being so nice, right? But then you start realizing, you start seeing why he becomes the villain that everyone knows him to be. And it's just really crazy to see how he went from, oh, I'm a happy, loving guy, to I want to destroy everything in my path and conquer everything else. And it's just amazing. It's definitely a great film. As you can tell, I'm seeing it. I was excited. I want to see it again at some point. Let's see. Scarlett Johansson as Elita 1. She did a pretty good job. For most of the film, I kind of forgot that it was her. I was looking at Elita 1, and this is a character we haven't seen in very much media until recently. And for a long time, Elita 1 was barely talked about. It was mostly RC that people got to know. But in this film, it's Elita 1, and she plays a huge role in this film, and it's just really cool how she shows herself to be a very competent, very good soldier figure. And then we've got Bumblebee, who also has to be included, right? Voiced by Keegan-Michael Key, of all people. And at first, I could recognize him as Keegan-Michael Key, but as the film progressed, I've pretty much forgot who was voicing these characters and was just paying attention to the characters themselves and what exactly was going on. Like, yes, Peter Cullen and Frank Welker are not doing the voices of Optimus Prime and Megatron, but after some time, you forget that's what's happening, and you're just looking at Optimus Prime and Megatron interacting with each other, or Orion Pax and D-16, as they're called in this film. I'm sorry about that. They do have their original names, and they're for most of the film. And it's just really unique seeing these characters connect with each other, and then some join the Autobots while others join the Decepticons. And it's just a beautiful film. Beautiful animation. The robots look pristine, and the plot and the twists and everything. Some of them could be predictable, but based on past movies, while others, yeah, they're not bad. The Quintessons, characters we haven't seen that much of in Transformers lore as of late. They play a role in the film, but not that much of a big one. Not as big of a role as I expected them to play, without there being many spoilers. They appear in the film and have a certain element in there, but I think they'll have bigger involvement if a sequel does get made, but that's I don't know what exactly is going on, but because right now they're talking about the film having a very low box office drop, and I'm not sure how to take that. I'm not sure if I believe that, but multiple people are talking about it, so that does make me concerned for a possible sequel. But anyway, is it connected to the rest of the movies? I don't think so. It doesn't come off that way. It might reference them in some areas, but the characters look like their G1 selves for the most part, or at least pretty much do. Bumblebee, just like every modern interpretation of Bumblebee, he doesn't really have his devil horns like he did in the original series. Well, I don't know if they're devil horns, but they're little horns. He didn't really have big prominent ones like Cliffjumper did. But, yeah, Bumblebee, his head design pretty much looks like it did in the movies, except he has like a smooth face. Not really a fan of like Bumblebee looking like a literal insect in the movies, but I did like his Bumblebee design from the Travis Knight directed Bumblebee. I love that version because he looks more cute and humble, like Bumblebee's supposed to be, because he's an underdog. While Michael Bay just made him look like a freaking killing machine. But yeah. One thing that does concern me about these movies is like the connection. This film is not connected, and Lorenzo de Bonaventura, one of the producers, wants you to believe that it is connected to the other movies, and I say that is not true. It never was true, and it never will be true, because that is not the way the fans want it. I think the man needs to back off and let the directors do their jobs. I understand the producer's job is to get people's butts in seats and to make the most sense by saying, oh yeah, it's connected to everything. But no, it is not. If you look at the live-action versions of the Transformers movies, of the Transformers from the Michael Bay movies, they're all silver protoform robots. Even the most iconic characters to exist, they're all silver protoform robots, and they look really alien and Cybertronic and just not like robots at all, and more like metal alien creatures with wires and sticking out and things like that, and razor sharp edges everywhere. So yeah, that was Michael Bay's movies. Bumblebee kind of took things in a more G1 type direction, especially with the beginning. I loved that. And I loved Bumblebee, the film as a whole, even more. Even though humans are a part of the story, it's a good story. And a lot of people complained that there were not enough robots in the Michael Bay movies, and yeah, I kind of have to agree with that. The robots were not the central force here. That's the trick with live action. Like, there can be people present. Like, what makes it live action is having real people there. That's usually what live action means, but sometimes you do have to take things in a different direction, you know? Yeah, Lorenzo de Bonaventura trying to connect everything and not letting directors have their own continuities and whatnot. It's just got to stop. It's just got to stop. Stephen Cable Jr. was treated unfairly, and Rise of the Beasts, which is supposed to be a sequel to Bumblebee, it was not as good as Bumblebee. It was better than Michael Bay's movies, but it was not as good as Bumblebee. It was just okay. And that kind of bummed me out, because something about it just fell flat. I mean, I liked the designs of the characters for the most part, but that film just fell flat for me. I don't know whose fault it was, but it was just flat. Transformers 1 is the complete opposite of that. It is strong, it has heart, it has feeling, and it entertains a wide audience age range. Not just adults and teenagers. Kids will definitely love it as well. It's PG, and it does take some risky decisions for a quote-unquote kids movie, but it's entertaining enough for the whole family to watch. I give it a 4.5 out of 5, a 9 out of 10. I definitely think you guys should see Transformers 1. Go out there and support this film. Get the toys. Get whatever you want related to this film if you can find it. I know I want to, so that is probably what will happen. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I will come back to you with episode 5, and we will talk about that. Later.